outside, he believed it was Bigfoot as well.
Huh. Well, now I've heard encounters, like Ape Canyon. If you've ever heard the story of Ape Canyon, some hunters, I don't remember what time period it was, not what time as in the hour of the day. I'm talking about what time is in the year. It was around turn of the century, the turn of the last century, I should say, 1800s, early 1900s, something like that. The hunters were out, and one of them saw what he thought was a bear and shot it.
Yeah.
And got to it, and it had fallen off a cliff. And apparently these others drug it off before he got there. But their cabin was pelted with rocks and boulders all night till part of it collapsed. And the hunters all hid in the cabin until daytime came up. And once daybreak came, they were able to get out of there and leave. They left everything. None of them would come back, go back to the cabin. But the people in town went out to there and said this, verified their story, that the cabin had been collapsed and there were boulders thrown at it all night, rocks and stuff like that, pelted all night. So apparently they killed one. I've heard stories of a guy in Oklahoma had a pea patch that he had set out for deer, and something had been getting into his pea patch, and he couldn't figure out what it was, so he shot it, and it stood up, and he shot it again and killed it, and it got drug off, and then his family were pretty much terrorized until they just had to leave.
Was it?
So, I look at it like this. They're looking at it like this. It's not a reprisal so much as it is a defense.
Yeah.
They're defending themselves from attack.
Yeah. Basically like a human would do.
Yes, exactly.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a good subject to talk about. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show. Richard, I think covered just about everything. We have one of my ladies that just showed up here at the studios. She's talking about UFOs, and I know you touched on it a little bit about it. UFOs. Me and her, actually, I probably saw the same thing. One night we was out late. She was coming home from visiting relatives, and I was heading to work, actually. Out in the field. Well, I guess it's probably a couple miles away, but it's real open, bottom-like area. I don't know exactly what she was wanting to know, but the UFOs. I guess I'm going to ask my question. Why does the UFO sightings and stuff, like the crops, crop designs and stuff, do you believe that the UFOs do that kind of thing, or is that it's kind of a myth of a person doing it?
I really don't know. UFOs have never really been my study, and from what I'm gathering from some people, I may have to start looking at a correlation between the two. Like I say, a friend of mine north of Dallas, there, he's a former police officer. And he has every time he goes out, there's an encounter of one or the other or both. And when he has an encounter with one, he may have an encounter with the other. Or if he has a UFO encounter, there's usually a Bigfoot encounter also. Usually, not always, but usually.
Yeah, somebody just asked that a lot of people who believe in the UFOs, after they see a UFO, some of them actually encounter Bigfoots, and that's why they were saying that the Bigfoots and the UFOs were conjunction together to because they travel
Yeah,
together.
and I don't know that for a fact. So I don't know. Like I say, personally, I cannot definitively say that there is a link between the two. But there are a lot more people coming up with the same story. You know, there's a lot of people coming up with the same type of story, I should say, same type of encounter.
Right. All right. Well, I have a thought on that. Us as humans, we see a UFO. We wander out and check it out and look so we can figure out what it is. Bigfoot, could they be doing the same thing, going to check it out of curiosity?
They very well could be. They are very curious.
Connect.
Right. Well, you know, but at the same time, a lot of people are going and they're saying, "Oh, this is definitely the way it is," and you can't say it's definitely the way it is. They may just be coming out to check it out too. You know.
Right.
They say, "What the hell is that? Why is that here?" Yeah. But that's the way you have to look at it. You don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody really knows for sure if the two are tied in together. There are a lot of people who are convinced that they are, that they're interdimensional beings or they're interplanetary beings. But I can't say yes or no. I've never had that kind of encounter. I've never seen anything that would make me even remotely think that. But I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes either.
Right. Well, we've got about 7 minutes left of the show. I'm going to go ahead and start ramping this down. Thank you, Richard, for being our guest, talking and telling everybody your side of the story on this subject. And I'm sure we're going to probably pick it up again.
Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, yeah, anytime. If you guys will give me a little more notice, we might get a little something else going, too. Might be able to prepare a little more.
Yeah, it was kind of off of a decision right off the bat, because I thought about you, right? Yeah, I do a lot of my thinking of what I'm going to do on the next show and stuff, and who I like to have on the show or something. And it's usually like 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm doing this.
Let me tell you about this, and I'll send Wayne the picture via text message. I was at a job site over just north of Houston recently, and we got 9 inches of rain one weekend, and it just flooded our whole job site. When we were able to get back onto the job site a couple of days later, I stepped off of a mat for a crane, and when I stepped off this mat, I stepped onto a footprint, and I realized what it was after I'd already stepped on it. So there's a boot print inside the footprint, but I put my rubber boot, my size 11 rubber boot. Rubber boots don't come in half sizes. I know because I said earlier that I wore a size 10.5 shoe, and size 10 rubber boots are just too small. But my rubber boot, my mud boot, is a size 11, and I put my mud boot down next to this footprint that I had just stepped in, and took a picture of my foot with that footprint. And I'll send it to Wayne via text message here in a little bit. But it was amazing to see a footprint that clear, and it was the only one out there. It looked like it had come off of the mat, stepped down, and then stepped back up on another mat. And then after that, it was grassy area. So,
I'd be glad to see it when you send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. As soon as we get off here, I'll send it to you. You'll look at that and you'll go, wow. I mean, it's just perfect footprint there.
I definitely want to see that as well.
Yeah, if he sends me a picture of it, you'll see it Saturday.
Yeah, I'll do it as soon as I get off here, fellas. And thank you for having me on tonight. And, like I say, next time give me a holler a couple days in advance and remind me the day of, because I get so much stuff going on that I forget about things. And hopefully there's going to be some really big news in the near future. But it won't be Bigfoot or UFO related.
Okay.
So,
well, again, thanks, Richard, and I will let you know a couple of days in advance this time. Like I said, it's kind of off the top of my head trying to figure out who I could call to talk about this, and your name came up in my head. I said, hey, well, and that's it was about 4 o'clock this morning when I sent you a message. But,
I had just got up, so.
Yeah. So,
all right,
anyway,
guys. Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate
I'll
you.
be glad to come back anytime.
I've enjoyed it, Richard. I really have.
All right.
Learned a lot.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. All right. Y'all have a great one.
All right, too. Thank you, Richard. Right. And Wayne, thanks for calling in, and I guess we'll see you and Mike from Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, tomorrow night's show is going to be about orbs, and I posted some stuff up on the website.
Yeah.
And about the orbs and stuff, and I think y'all seen on the stuff because I told her I would. But anyway, tomorrow night's subject is about orbs, and I've got a pretty good line of stuff here to talk about, and we want everybody to call in and talk about the orb situation. I'm going to let you go, Dwayne, and we'll be talking to you later.
All right, sounds good, and I'll definitely be calling in tomorrow night for sure, because the orbs, I love talking about them.
All righty, sir. Well, have a good night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, you too, my friend.
Did you get the extra?
All right.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Anyway, get back with tomorrow night show is, like I said, it's the truth about orbs. We have a lot of things that I've got a lot of paperwork, a lot of research about orbs, and a lot of people don't know. So a lot of questions to ask about orbs, and people want to know what orbs are and what make orbs, and paranormal orbs and natural orbs and stuff like that, and we'll learn that tomorrow night. So we want to thank Richard Van Dyke for calling in and being our guest. I know in here in a couple of days we'll be having a lady named Jo Bailey. She is from Moonlit Paranormal, and she also has I believe it's an internet show, or maybe local in their area, called True Ghost Stories. She's going to be our guest one night. Haven't made a date on that yet, but that's coming up pretty soon. And I want to thank everybody for calling in. Great questions. We learned a lot, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. And everybody out there have a great night, and we'll see y'all then. Good night.
Good night.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car, because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. You know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun. And hey, you know what else you don't see? You don't see me leaving for work in the morning, because I missed so much time with court and everything that I got fired.
Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.